Hello guys, welcome to today's lesson. Today we'll be looking at motivation in an organizational context. Looking at what motivation is and how organizations are able to motivate their employees to get the best out of them. So there are two theories or two broad categories of theories on motivation. We have the need theories and the process theories. The need theories of motivation focus on satisfying the needs of employees in order to get the best out of them. And the process theories of motivation looks at a systematic approach or a rationale that must be followed in order to satisfy employees to get the best out of them. So as I said, we'll focus on the needs theory for today in this video and the process theory in the subsequent videos. So let's start with what motivation is. Motivation is the driving force that directs a person towards a goal. So there is a goal, that's what you want to achieve. And then for you to be able to achieve that goal, there has to be something that is going to push you, that is going to drive you to work hard to accomplish that goal. That is motivation. So in an organizational context, motivation is what an organization must do in order to make employees bring out the best for them to be able to achieve their organizational goals. So that's what motivation is all about. Now there are two forms of motivation or two types of motivation. We have the intrinsic and or the extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation comes from within the person that is performing an act, and extrinsic motivation stems from external factors, things that does not have to do with the person himself but from other sources. To make it clear, intrinsic motivation can be in the form of interest or fulfillment or a sense of purpose that a person has in doing something. So you take someone who likes dancing. The person is motivated to dance because it's the person's interest. The person's find happiness, a sense of fulfillment, a sense of joy in dancing. So dancing is something the person enjoys because he is motivated from within. Then a form of extrinsic motivation is a person who is perhaps studying to get a good grade or studying to get a better job. So the person studying is because of the reward, the external factors, what the person is going to get for performing an act. Whereas intrinsic motivation is what the person feels within when the person performs an act. So now we know what motivation is and the forms of motivation. Let's now look at the three needs theory, and we'll begin with Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Abraham Maslow was a renowned psychologist, and in the early 1940s, he propounded the very first of the needs theory. That's the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And as you can see from the triangle, Abraham Maslow is of the view that human needs are well structured and they are satisfied in order from the bottom to the top. So we have the physiological needs, the base needs from his theory. According to him, the physiological needs are the most important of all human needs, and these needs include shelter, food, air, among others. So according to Abraham Maslow, these needs are core to every human being, and until these needs are satisfied, other needs cannot be satisfied. One step up is the safety needs, a sense of safety or security from danger, pain, or uncertain future is what Abraham Maslow is saying is the second most important need. Then we have the social needs. Social needs has to do with having a bond or a connection or relationship with other people. So once a person is able to satisfy his physical needs, such as food, thirst, shelter, the person then looks at satisfying his safety needs. That has to do with security. And then once the person has satisfied these needs, he goes down to look at having a sense of belonging, a sense of good relationship with other people. Then the fourth of the needs is the esteem needs. The esteem needs has to do with having respect from other people, being recognized by other people, and feeling important in society. Then at the peak of it is the self-actualization need. The self-actualization need is the need that is final to every human need. This need is when a person has a sense of fulfillment, being able to accomplish or achieve all that a person is capable of. Now, this is Abraham Maslow's assumption of human needs. He said that every human behavior is motivated by needs. So for every act or an action that a person indulge himself in, the person is motivated by something. That is, he needs something, that's why he's doing that act. And human needs are hierarchical, meaning they are in order. One need is satisfied, then you move to the next one. And then lower needs are satisfied first, then the higher needs. Now we want to know how Abraham Maslow's theory can be utilized in an organizational context. So managers can or should first satisfy the physical needs of employees by giving them salaries. Then they can move on to satisfying their safety needs by providing a safe and conducive environment for their employees. Then social needs can be satisfied in an organization by putting employees in groups, having them to feel or to have a good or cordial relationship with other employees. And then esteem needs is making employees feel important by rewarding their behavior, such as giving award or a citation for an act to show employees some sense of recognition for their good work. Then self-actualization need can be accomplished by setting more challenging tasks for employees to get the best out of them. So that's what Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs is all about. We then move on to Adolphus ERG theory, 1969. You might be wondering why ERG. So the E stands for existence, the R stands for relatedness, and the G stands for growth. Now, Adolphus theory stems down from Abraham Maslow's theory, This is an upgrade of Abraham Maslow's theory. He actually studied Abraham Maslow's theory, and based on the shortcomings that he found in that theory, he was able to improve it. So according to this theory, he believed that human beings have three core needs, contrary to that of Abraham Maslow. The first is the existence needs, and as you can see, the existence needs is the physiological and the safety needs, same as that of Abraham Maslow, but he has put them into one. Then we have relatedness, we have the social needs and the self-esteem needs. So relatedness has to do with having a bond or a relationship with other people. Then the growth is self-actualization is very similar to that of Abraham Maslow. So as you can see, the ERG is basically a simplified version of Abraham Maslow's 5 needs. Now, the difference between this theory and that of Abraham Maslow is that Adefes believe that individuals can be motivated by multiple needs at the same time, contrary to Abraham Maslow, where he said that human needs are hierarchical and that until the first need, that is the physiological needs, are satisfied, the person cannot move on to satisfy another need. Adefes is saying that human beings are motivated by multiple needs at the same time, meaning that a person can be thirsty at the same time the person is wanting something else. A person can be looking for love or a sense of connection or bond, relationship with other people. At the same time, the person is looking for growth or self-esteem. So this is more realistic in real life situations where human beings have multiple needs at the same time. And his another view that he had was that the importance of human needs are different for every person. Abraham Maslow was trying to say that every human being first priority is physiological needs. But Adefes is saying that human beings have different needs that they prioritize. So maybe food or physical needs is important to person A, but to person B, growth or self-esteem is more important. So human needs are of relatively different importance. Not everyone has the same needs as their priority at the same time. And another major difference is that Adefes is saying that unsatisfied needs leads to pursuing other needs. So a person who is hungry and looking for food, all efforts to get something to eat, if he fails, the person does not persist. The person moves on to satisfy other needs. Or in other words, a person who is looking for self-esteem, recognition, if the person fails to achieve these needs, the person does not keep on pursuing it. The person moves on to satisfying another need that is of importance. So that's it for Adefes ERG theory. As you can see, his model or his theory is not hierarchical. He believes that human needs can be in the form of a fluid. So a person can decide I'm satisfying existing needs or I'm satisfying growth needs at any point in time. Human beings can satisfy any of these needs, unlike that of Abraham Maslow. This is more realistic compared to Abraham Maslow's theory. Well, if you think different, you can put your comments in the comment section. Okay, so now let's look at the last of the needs theory. That's Herzberg's two-factor theory. This theory takes a different dimension from the previous two, and it's of the view that there are two types of factors that affect employee motivation. We have the hygiene factors and motivators. Hygiene factors are the conditions that decreases job dissatisfaction when they are met, and motivators are the conditions that when they are met, they increases an employee's job satisfaction. So to make this even more clear, let's look at some examples of these two factors, then we'll distinguish between them. For hygiene factors, an example is company's policy. Now, don't forget that we said hygiene factors decreases job dissatisfaction, meaning that they are the things that will make an employee more comfortable with the work that the person is doing and not necessarily motivate the person. Whereas motivators are the conditions that would actually motivate a person or increases the person's commitment to the work. For hygiene factors, the very first of them is company policy. Company policy has to do with a company's stand or value or viewpoint on an issue. So a company's policy on sexual harassment or gender equality, perhaps a strong policy on this can make female employees more comfortable at workplace. And we also have supervision, monitoring employees when they are working. Relationship has to do with the communication or the bond between employees and managers. Working conditions are the physical attributes of the environment that employees are exposed to. The lighting conditions, ventilation, whether there's heat in the rooms, or how safe the place is for employees to work at. And we also have salary, that is the wages that employees receive, and security. For motivators, we have achievement. Achievement has to do with an employee being able to accomplish a task or a job. Recognition is rewarding an employee for a work done, perhaps a prize or some money or promotion. That's recognition. We have interesting work. Interesting work has to do with a person or an employee enjoying the work that he's doing. And increased responsibility is giving employees authority to be able to make informed decisions. So not imposing everything on employees, but giving them the chance or the privilege to take responsibility or to make their own decisions without any interference. Then we have advancement and growth. That is giving employees or providing an avenue for employees to acquire new skills and to be promoted. Now, the major difference between these two factors is when we look at the hygiene factors, they do not motivate an employee to increase work effort, or they do not motivate an employee to give their best to organization. You take salary for instance. Paying an employee does not necessarily mean that the employee is going to give off his best, because I'm working, so definitely you have to pay me. Working conditions, providing a fan or an air condition that is not going to make an employee to work even harder. It just makes the employee feel more comfortable with the work. Same for supervision and relationship. These factors do not necessarily make an employee give up their best. They just make the employee feel comfortable. But for motivators, these are the factors that actually push employees to give more to the company. For instance, achievement. So once an employee is able to achieve something, the person is motivated to even do more. Employee who is recognized for a good effort, such as a prize or an increase in wages, is going to be motivated to even work harder. An employee who has increased responsibility, who is given the mandate to make decisions without or with minimum supervision, is going to be motivated to give up their best. And promotion and growth is going to motivate a person. So These are the two factors that influence or affect motivation. One of these factors actually motivates, and the other factor do not motivate, but rather they make the employee comfortable. That is the hygiene factors. So that's Herzberg's viewpoint on the needs theory. You might want to take a look at these questions, some examinable questions that we can get from these areas.